Hello, YouTube world. This is your girl V, and I got something to share. Like, God deals with me with these dreams, right? And so for years, I used to share those with people, and I had gotten to the point to where the dreams that I shared with people um, were people who were not spiritually aware. And I think I mentioned this before in one of my videos. So, Saturday morning, Saturday morning, I wake from a dream. And in this dream, what I saw was I saw I saw like this young guy, and he was of Latino descent. And he was going into this house, right? And so when he was going into the house, like he had like boxes. And in those boxes were like shoes, like they were shoe boxes that he had in his hand. And so he would take these shoe boxes into, a room. And in this room was like it was like a closet. And in this closet, when he opened the door, it was like he opened like it was like he was opening up a whole new like world when he went into this closet. And so what I saw was I saw him taking boxes down into this place. And he just kept like coming in and out of the place. And all of a sudden um I saw where he was going to. But also too, this little young boy was being watched. And he looked like maybe he was in like his 20s, like his mid 20s. Like he was probably no older than about maybe like 25 or something in that age, but he was young in a dream. And so it was him and it was another guy, and they were taking things behind, like down into what looked like or what appeared to be a basement. And so as I continued to look and to watch this guy, I don't know how I ended up there where he was. I just know that this is what I saw. So if you're not spiritually aware, you're not spiritually inept, please just don't judge. Just listen to what I'm saying, please, because I really believe that this is really significant, and I'm really going somewhere with this. So in the dream, right? So he was taking shoes and stuff down into the basement, and all of a sudden I see like this big pile of like I see like this big pile of shoes. And these shoes were of all colors, they were of all sizes. And some of them were like wrapped up in plastic, like they were like like they were in like plastic bags, if I can say that. Because sometimes, like when you get, I know sometimes when I have gotten things in the mail, they would come like sealed or wrapped in some kind of little like plastic bag that folds over and that seals together. So he had, like, it was like he had accumulated a whole lot of like boxes of goods, like shoes. And it was stacked, they shoes, they were stacked so high. But I didn't see him put all the shoes. I only saw him with a few boxes. And so when I saw him down in that basement, or what I thought was a basement, it was like a tunnel that had been created starting from the state of Texas all the way, that led all the way, and I am not kidding, guys, all the way to Mexico. And this tunnel was long and it was lit up and it was under the ground. Like it was underground. And when you go under there, you'll see like a whole marketplace. Now, I'll tell you this, I've seen videos where people have literally created like homes and things of that sort, like underland. Like if something like a civil war, anything was to rise up in our country, they are prepared, to live under, to live under the ground. And I know for a fact, like right now in some areas of the U.S., there are people that are prepared to live, or what they call when it's called some kind of shelter is called. But this, what I saw in my dream, it was like it was a whole marketplace, y'all, like going on. Like it was like if you walked down, and it was miles and miles and miles of things going on. It was so much going on that I didn't even get to the end of the tunnel. I just got far enough to see that this thing stretched from the state of Texas underground, somewhere in Texas underground, all the way to Mexico. This is the dream that I had. And I was saying, what in the like, and there were two other men that were in charge. Like, he was just the person, that one of the people that was transporting or helping to transport the goods underground. Like, he was one of the main go-to guys. But there was like two older guys that were in charge. And one of the guys, he had like this tattoo on the front of his head, and it came down like his forehead, and it came like this way, but it was like in a flame. And I also too remember, like in the dream, like there was like the CIA that was watching him all that time, and he didn't know that he was being watched by the CIA. He didn't see me either, but I saw him, and I'm standing there in the midst of this looking like, what in the world is going on? Like, I was literally, I wanted to know, like, what is going on? Like, how in the world are these, how in the world, like, first of all, my thought process was, like, who in the world, like, how y'all, like, how long y'all been doing this? Like, how long has this been going on? Because the place was literally set up. Now, I'll tell you this. When I used to live in Atlanta, we used to go what we called the Underground Mall down at Five Points. And the Underground Mall was like a mall that was literally under the ground. And that's how this place was set up. In this stretch, like in the CIA, I didn't see the FBI involved, but I saw the CIA that was watching and investigating him. And what they ended up doing in the dream is they ended up arresting this young man. And so the two main guys that was, I guess, that was heading up, spearheading the operation or whatever, they were pissed off. They were literally like pissed off. It was so much going on under this tunnel. And I sat down and I thought about this for days. Like, really, really sat down. Let me turn my light on. I really sat down and I really thought about this, because that really, like, that really troubled my spirit, man, to see. And that's not to say, that people don't do things like that. And that's not to say that things like that, there are so many things that are going on in the world that have not yet been exposed. And, but that, what was going on that I saw going on underground, that was major. And I mean, when you go through this tunnel, it was highly lit under the ground. It was vaulted. Like, it was so, let me say this, it was so strategic and so sophisticated. And I'll tell you, when I was talking to the Lord, God reminded me of the Tower of Babel. And let me talk to y'all about the Tower of Babel. So, there are people who are so intelligent. They got this human intelligence. And they are creating these systems. And they are sophisticated systems, and you see them all over the world. People are creating these sophisticated systems, like what they had created under that tunnel, under that ground. And my thing also too was, by them being underground, like, how are they able to keep, like, if anything is traveling on top of it, how are they able to keep, like, everything, like the dirt and all of that, everything was in place, like it was all structured, like a whole architect. I don't know who built it. I wasn't around to see who built this tunnel, but what I know is, or what I saw is, I saw like this whole sophisticated system underground that stretched 4 miles underground from Texas all the way to Mexico. And I'm not playing, I am so serious. So in Babylon, they had this belief that um they had this belief that they can build, like the people were so intelligent, and this happened right after the flood. Like when God had flooded the earth, and the land had become dry and everything like that. These people have these systems that are set in place, and these systems that they have set in place are very sophisticated. They are very, very strategic, and they are very, very sophisticated. So what God did was, in Genesis 11, if you read Genesis 11, it says the beliefs uh, such as this are the basis of all the world's religious systems. Only Christianity realizes that man can't serve himself. People are setting up these sophisticated systems where they can serve themselves. And this system right here was so sophisticated. Now remember, if you go back and read in Genesis 11, that these people built this tower, and they were so, they had human intellect. I'm going to say this because the word of God declares that to the only wise God, only God is wise. We're not wiser than God. Nobody is ever wiser than God. There is nothing in this world that has gone on in this world that God does not see and that he does not know. And I'm going to say this, that he will most definitely expose. Because if I saw that in the dream, trust me, at some point that is going to be exposed. And so these people had this like belief system. And with Babylon, like they had like a whole, that system or those towers that they were building was like a system, a sophisticated system that people put in place. And we've seen it happen throughout time. We've seen this happen over and over and over and over again. We've seen the Roman Empire. We've seen all these different empires that were built, and they always came to ruin. And so, yeah, I just was, I was amazed, to see something like that in my dream. It really caught, my attention. Like I was actually there, but the things that they were doing, they didn't see me. The young man, he never saw me. He didn't see me. But the two older men, they did. The younger guys, they didn't see me, but the two older men, and I also too remember that one of my family members was there. And when he saw us, watching him, it kind of made him upset. You know, the older guy, the one that had the tattoo, down here coming across his face. And I'm telling you this, he was some kind of pissed. He was pissed off, and he was so serious about, when this young man had gotten caught, because his main concern was if he got caught and they questioned him, then what's going to happen to this civilization that's going on under the ground? What's gonna, you know, how much of what they're doing under the ground will be exposed? I'm saying all that to say this: God is going to expose and unravel some things. He is a revelator. If God is nothing else, people, God is a revelator. I did not want to come on here and talk about this, but this is very, 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 very serious. I don't know if this is going to come to pass. I don't know if this has already come to pass, but I do know this. Anytime God shows me something like that, either they have been exposed or they're getting ready to be exposed at some point. And so, what the people of Babylon had done was, it's like, these humanistic attitudes that are displayed, in the Bible by those who stood in opposition to the living God. And that's what I saw going on. Like what was going on down in those tunnels, like everything was man-made. Just like people call themselves, I'm a self-made, I'm a self-made millionaire. No, you're not a self-made anything. If you are anything, that is the favor and the grace of God has fallen upon you in it, and God has given you the grace and the idea to push those out there into the earth realm, and people can benefit from whatever it is that you have. But this right here was like a whole secret society, and you had people down. Like, I'm so serious. I didn't see people like living anything like that down there. But what I did see was I saw a lot of business going on. I saw a lot of things being transferred from the U.S. all the way to Mexico under the ground. And it so amazed me. It so amazed me. Um, and uh, that is the attitude of this world. We have so many different religions in the world, that we believe that man ascends, to godhood in stages, and he saves himself. And that's not what God is wanting. God is not wanting us to save himself. And God don't have a problem with you being smart. He doesn't have a problem with you being intelligent. But what he does have a problem with is when you feel like you can create your own system. He has a problem with when you don't come to him and ask him for the wisdom to do things instead of doing things on your own. Because what God will do is he'll do just like he did the Tower of Babel. He destroyed it. He dismantled everything that was going on. He uprooted them people. God had to come down and say, what is going on with these people? Look at what they are doing. They have built this tower. So I'm saying all that to say this. There are systems, there are sophisticated Babylons that a God is going to expose in this hour. I'm telling you, what I saw in that dream was nothing. I'm telling you, it under the ground, it was vaulted, the seal, like it was like walking in a mall. These people were down under the ground selling everything. It was like a whole different world. It was like what they built over in Dubai. It was running like that, like the underground mall that they built under. At I've seen places in this world where they have built things underground, but this one right here that they had built that was coming from America, going all the way to Mexico, something was not right about that. And for the CIA to be in my dream and for the CIA to be watching this young man, something about that was not right. In whatever kind of sophisticated system that is, whatever kind of whatever, because they were selling everything. Because what I saw the young man putting down there was a bunch of shoes. But when I got further down in the tunnel, I saw people down there selling all kinds of stuff. And this thing stretched for miles. You would be walking through this thing for days. That's how long it stretched. I don't know the cubic distance. I don't know the metric distance. I don't know the kilograms. I don't know any of that. What I do know is that I saw a system that was built under the ground. And I know that this is a form of humanistic intelligence, and this is a form of Babylon. And I don't know when, I don't know who, I don't know how, and I don't know where. But I do know that God is going to expose it. That is a system, that's something, if the CIA had to get involved, then it was something that was being built, that was not being built on the premises of legalism or legalities. It was something that was being done illegally. So, yeah. And um, what God is going to do to these sophisticated systems that people are building, God is going to expose them, and He's going to destroy the Babylonian organizations that have been created. If you don't believe me, go back and read Genesis chapter 11. You can read Isaiah 47. You can read Ezekiel 26 through 27. And you can also too read Revelations chapter 17 and chapter 18. This is all I have for you for right now for this particular video. I will be coming back with some more videos, but I just had to come on and say something about that system, because what I saw in my dream, that system was very sophisticated, and it was something that is built on human intelligence. It is not of God, and God is most definitely going to destroy it, and it will be exposed. So any Babylon system or Babylonian system that is being built here or anywhere else, God is going to expose, He's going to destroy, and He is uprooted in this season. I love you all. Stay prayed up, because we are most definitely going to need it. We are living in perilous times, and we are going to need prayer more than anything in this world. There's so much that is coming to America that we are going to need constant and consistent prayer. Please pray for America. Pray for our president. Pray for our government leaders. Even if you don't agree with what they're doing, still pray, because we all need prayer. Okay? I love you. Have an awesome day. Peace.